All right, so number 7. What is the length of segment AC? Okay, so anytime you see length, that means to use, it's also the same thing as saying distance. Distance formula is typically better when you have two coordinates that you're working with. It doesn't really work as well. I mean, you can, but it just doesn't quite make as much sense when you're on a number line. So all you need to do when you're on a number line is just subtract the values. So A is at -6 and C is at 8, so I'm going to subtract them. Okay. Now, in geometry, when we're finding length always needs to be positive. So whatever answer we get here, these symbols mean that we take that answer and make it positive. So -6 minus 8 gives me -14, but my absolute value symbols mean that I need to make that positive 14. And that's my length. Okay. For number 8, it wants us to find the missing pieces of these endpoints. So this is a lot like this problem, number 3. The only difference is that instead of finding a whole coordinate, you're going to have to go up to get H and down to get B. So going from 9 to 3, we are subtracting 6. So in order to get H, we do that again. So 9 minus 6 gives me 3. 3 minus 6 gives me -3. Okay, to get B, from -1 to +8, we're adding 9. So I do that again. 8 plus 9 gives me 17. And those are my missing points. Okay, number 9. What is the vocabulary word for a line, ray, or segment that divides something into two congruent parts? Okay. Keyword here, 2. So we have a vocabulary term called a bisector. We know that bi means 2. Like when you say you're bilingual, that means you're speaking 2 languages. So bisector means it's dividing something into 2 equal parts. Okay, number 10. What is the midpoint of segment DB? Okay, so we learned in class that when you want to find a midpoint, one of the things that you can do is take the average of those two numbers. So I would add -9 plus 4, and then divide it by 2, and that gives me -2.5 as my midpoint. Okay. Number 11. Given that segment HY is 86, what is X? Okay. All right, I'm going to get another piece of paper for this since I'm kind of running out of room here. Okay, so here's going to be my scratch paper. All right, what we know about this is that this entire thing, HY, has a length of 86. Now, H to Y is made up of 3 segments. One has a length of 10, the other 2x minus 4, and the other 3x. I know that if I add these 3 things up, it's going to be equal to the length of 86. So that's exactly what I'm going to write algebraically. Add those things together, and they equal 86. From this point on, it's just like Algebra 1 again. So I'm going to combine my x terms. 2 plus 3 gives me 5x. 10 minus 4 gives me 6. Okay. Then I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Okay. And then divide by 5. And we get that x is 16. Okay, the second question is related to this, and it asks, is P the midpoint of segment HY? So for this problem, you're going to have to take what you got for x and go plug it in to these pieces. So 2 times 16 minus 4 gives me 28. So that's the length from A to P. 3 times 16 is equal to 48. So that's the length from P to Y. So from H to P, 28 plus 10 means that this side is 38, and then from P to Y, this side is 48. So because these two things are not equal, this one's 48 and this one's 38, no. P is not the midpoint. If P were the midpoint, this number would be the same as that number.